Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bethalkis. And guess what? We're back with Future Man, Season 2, Episode 1, a countdown to a prologue. And I just want to say, welcome to Suspended Fanimation, the home for the prudish bourgeois, according to one of my commenters, Rohera. Or Roheta, excuse me. Oh, man. Good stuff, man. Yeah, some really good stuff. Welcome to everybody in the chat too, by the way. Slurmy Scott, BD, Movie Fanobi, Pen Farm Girl, Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Bitch. And I know that Ed Brewer is watching furiously. He's in the last couple of minutes. That's why I'm actually and the Filthy News. That's right. I forgot the Filthy News was over here as well. Hey BD, how's it going? Yes, BD, I am on time. I actually hit my marks when I'm supposed to. So, yeah. I live on a schedule that I need to be on, most of the time. So I'm usually right on time. If I'm not going to be, I will usually update it and let you guys know. So with that said, I am reviewing Future Man. It's a Hulu show. If you don't have Hulu, you can sign up for a 30-day free trial. I don't work for them. I'm not getting any kickbacks from them, anything like that. But you can sign up for a 30-day free trial. Excuse me. And season 1 is up there, all of season 1 and all of season 2 as well. So some really good stuff. And if you haven't seen it, it's about time travel. It's about it's comedy. It's Seth Rogen is involved along with his writing partner Evan Goldman. They're the guys who've done Preacher, Happy. They're doing The Boys as well. Like I said, you got to watch it. It's so packed, so well written. All episodes are half an hour long. There's only 13 episodes per season. It's really good stuff. Hey Ed, you made it. See, I was actually killing time for you there before I actually got into it. So. Slurmy Scott, good thing you got your high-tech repair going there. You unplugged the router and plugged it back in. Is your computer on or is it off? We're here for you. So with that said, spoiler alert, I am spoiling the episode. I will give away the entire episode. That's what a review recap is. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Come on back and you can comment below in the comment section because this is going to stay up as a video afterwards. So, and then I'm also, once I go through the recap here, I am going to get to the chat and answer your questions. I do look at the questions every now and then as I'm reading here, as I'm going through this. And I've got my big book of notes over here as well. So we ended off season 1 with Josh in the asylum in a bed. And, he has a flash of light, of course. And season 2 starts off exactly where we left off. Season 1, Josh wakes up in Juice's bed. Juices? Yeah. And in his Juice pajamas. And he goes downstairs to see Paul playing fishing game in VR, which Juice had invented. So, yeah, it's, and Paul says, wait a minute, Josh asks him what the hell's going on, and Paul says, why, what's happening? And he goes, last thing I remember, I was in prison. And he goes, oh, and you saw a flash of light? And he goes, yeah, I saw a flash of light. And he goes, okay. He goes, here's what happened. You have an allergy to food. You have a peanut allergy, and the food that you're eating in prison was causing you to have flashes, see these flashes, and your mind would erase, your memory would erase, and I'd have to tell you what the hell happened. This is like my 15th time. It's getting a little bit boring kind of thing. And so instead of hiring a private chef for you, they put you under home arrest and have you here so you can eat, the food that you want. And he goes, well, home arrest, but I don't have an ankle bracelet on. He goes, what's to stop me from leaving the door? And just then we hear the toilet flush and out comes Skarsgård. And he says, because I put a bullet in the back of your head. He goes, nah, I'm just kidding. I just blow out your kneecap instead. So Skarsgård is there looking after him, and he's interested in playing this fishing game as well. And Paul says, we've got a regular Lucy Whitmore here. Lucy Whitmore, by the way, is from 50 First Dates. Don't tell me you forgot that movie. And it's all the little things that were happening in this scene. The writing is back on par, I believe. And yes, this episode wasn't the greatest episode, but it was still better than 90% of what's out there on network TV. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Orville. They were calling him the Chrono Bomber, Little Boy Blue, BLEW. And as Paul says, Josh asked what happened to Tracy because Tracy was also working for him. And Paul says, you know what, Tracy doesn't like working for a terrorist. He goes, but I have no problem as long as the check clears. So the doorbell rings and they kind of look at Josh, and Josh is like, don't you guys work for me? He goes, okay, let the terrorist answer the door. So he goes and picks up a flower arrangement that's sitting down at the door there, and he brings it in. They're like, ooh. And they're talking about how expensive these flowers are and who got them for him and everything. He's got a little card on there and it says Stu Camillo. That's all it says, a little smiley face on it. And he goes, why is this from Stu? Why did Stu send me flowers? Stu doesn't like me. He hates me. And Skarsgård and Paul get really interested in why he hates him, and like, why does this guy hate you? What did you guys do? And they're trying to get into their relationship. And every time Josh tries to steer it away from there, they bring it back. It's very odd of what they're doing. And they kind of press the point of, well, maybe you should write a thank you note to him. And he goes, I don't even like the guy. Why would I, send a thank you note to him? And they're like, because it's a nice thing to do. And so Paul's questioning him and Skarsgård's questioning him. And then it gets really kind of angry questioning where they're like, what do you know about Stu? And they're backing him into the wall. And of course, who appears but Tiger and Wolf to save the day? They TTD in. And of course, Skarsgård and Paul are biotics. And they try and kill Tiger and Wolf. But Tiger and Wolf pull out these big, huge throwing stars, Ninja Star, and throw them and sit them in the neck. And of course, Wolf has to enter with, I give that entrance 2 stars. That's right. He is tertiary. That's right, Viking bitch. Stu Camillo, I don't know him. He's tertiary to me. But yes, I love I give that entrance 2 stars. So they end up telling him that the biotics are pissed at Josh because they, he destroyed their future. So they activated a protocol to activate all the sleeper agents that were left. And it turns out there were about 14 of them. And Skarsgård and Paul were 2 of them. And they said, we had to come back and, help our little buddy, is what Wolf says, because especially after we saw what they did to you, they're showing him pictures of his dismembered body. He says, yeah, the protocol for that is first rule of murder protocol is to disrespect the body. He goes, where the hell are my ears? Like, oh, and she flips through the pictures on the phone and goes, oh, there they are. They're stuffed in there. Exactly. Where are my ears? So some really good stuff. And Tiger and Wolf said, excuse me, that the future is perfect. Just absolutely perfect. And they have robot butlers. And of course, Josh's like, oh my God. And Tiger's like, no, don't worry. They're programmed not to kill us. So turn on us. Which kind of eases his mind, I guess, a little bit more there. And so they're going to end up going on a mission to kill the rest of the sleeper agents, the 12, but they're scattered all over the world. And before they can do that, they're going to give Josh a syringe with a compound that's actually going to make him a badass. He's going to be able to walk in any room and figure out any situation, kick their asses, and also have more confidence when he walks into the room as well. So, movie Fanobi, that's just bad. Where are my ears? What? That don't fall for that joke, Pen. It's an old joke. I use it all the time at work. So in walks, they go, oh, well, we're not going alone. We have a 4th member of the team, Fox. So in walks Fox, and she is supposed to be the nerd of the group. And Josh injects himself immediately because he's all jazzed about this. And he walks up to Fox all confidently and, hits on her. And she's responding back to him. She goes, I like the click of your keyboard. She goes, but I think, we're going to need a spelling check. And he says, of course, and I wrote it down because, well, we'll have to disestablishmentarianism that, which I thought was a great line to work in one of the worst words possible in the English language. How they worked that in, I'm pretty sure that was a bet in the writer's room of how they could actually get that in. And that was how they did it. So they're going to infiltrate, they're going to go to Helsinki to go and get 2 of the biotics. And they're going to pose as a married couple that are madly in love that are trying to infiltrate a Nordic sex cult. So they have to have lots and lots of sex, which Josh is agreeable to because, he likes Fox. And all of a sudden, Tiger and Wolf both say the same question that's, sparks a little memory in Josh's brain about Skarsgård and Paul, the questions that they were asking him. And he goes, wait a minute. He goes, you know what? I got to go upstairs. I think I have a gift card to Patagonia to go get a jacket for Helsinki. And he goes upstairs into his room and he's looking through a box and he pulls out this old kids game called Spoink that deals with pigs. And on the back of it is this woman who is Fox. So he knows that, she's something from his memory, something from his childhood. And he goes downstairs and he decides to test this, telling them that, I remember something important about Stu. And it happened on your date with him, Tiger, the whale watching date, when that whale almost, crashed into your boat. And he told you something really important. And she goes, oh, well, he told me a lot of things. I don't remember. What was it? And of course, that's when he catches them. He goes, you've never seen a spout. You've never been on a whale watching trip. And Wolf, you're being way too damn nice to me. And you were the Spoink girl. I'm pretty sure it's the first girl that he spoinked to. Yes, farm girl. They're not subtle sometimes about the stuff on this show. So yes, I'm pretty sure that's what Spoink was referring to. So after he lets on that he knows that they're not the real people, they start peppering him with questions about Stu. What do you know about Stu? What is he to you? And he's tertiary to me. And as they're backing him up towards the wall there, his world starts dissolving. And Josh wakes up in a tub of goo, naked completely, with a longer prosthetic dick this time, and a neural cap on. And he gets out of the tub, slides around a little bit and falls. And we see these 2 texts going, well, he shorted out the system. How long is it going to take to reboot? It's going to take a little while. So call in Apollo. So they bring this big guy in, Apollo, who's got this thing in his mouth, breathing with, and he injects Josh and knocks him out. Again, Josh is knocked out once again. So he's been in a simulator that whole time. So Josh wakes up in bed with this woman, Athena, who tells him, she goes, you know what? We put you in the simulator because we didn't want to shock you. I just want to let you know, lay down. We're from the future. Okay, is what he says. We came back in time because you knew Stu Camillo and you are in the future. Stu Camillo creates the cure, which creates biotics. And yeah, he finishes off the story. He says, yes, there's a war that's going on. And she goes, we thought that you could help, but we put you into the simulator to see what you knew, but it's who you are that we're more interested in. And he thinks he has powers and all this kind of stuff. And she asked him if, so you're a time warrior? And he goes, well, yeah, kind of, sort of. So she says, okay, well, we're going to welcome you into the order of the pointed circle. But Josh really doesn't want to be a savior anymore, really. And she decides to give him a little bit of time. She gives him some fluid. She actually pulls these things out of his neck too. Yeah, that these 2 really long ass wires that were part of the simulator to get the neural cap to work. And she comes back in with some food because, of course, the simulator will crank up your metabolism 14 point something times and make you just atrophy because your body will eat itself, trying to, of course, survive. That's why she brings in the food and all this stuff. And he's shackled to the bed too, so that supposedly he doesn't break anything, because supposedly he can start having convulsions and break some stuff. That's when she explains that, and she also says, easy on the liquids. The tranq we gave you can make you lose bladder control. He goes, don't worry about it. He goes, I'm a gamer. He goes, I'm used to holding my own on that. She's like, all right, just watch out. So she tells them he decides that he's going to join the pointed circle because his only option is if he doesn't join, they're going to just send him back to prison, wipe his memory, send him back to prison, and he may actually remember a little bit of stuff that'll be nagging at him in the back of his mind, which will make him go insane. Anyway, yeah. Kind of a shitty thing. So she goes, you know what? We're going to introduce you to the rest of the team. I'll bring them on in. She goes, but first we're going to need a code name for you. She goes, Jesus? And he says, that sounds a bit risky. Allah? Jesus, let's just go with Jesus. Jesus is fine. So she leaves, and just as soon as she leaves, Josh just lets go and pisses the bed completely. I mean, completely pisses the bed. He has no control over whatsoever. And he's embarrassed about it and goes, I can't meet Xenu like this. For those of you at home, Xenu is from the Church of Scientology. He is the alien Xenu that supposedly they worship and all that kind of stuff, which I was laughing my ass off that all the code names are all religious figure names. So he ends up trying to scoot the bed over because the chain only goes so far because he sees some sheets up on the top shelf there, and he takes his clothes off and wraps himself in sheets. So he really does look like Jesus at this point. And he still has that, the ankle bracelet on. And as he gets down low, he can hear through the vent them talking. Athena's talking to the other techs and saying that he's the first one that's actually blown out the simulator within the first 10 minutes. So they're going to upload his brain to the mainframe or something like that to blow it out as part of a war effort item. But of course, the upload is going to kill him. It'll definitely kill him, obviously. And so he's like, oh shit, they're going to kill me. So he freaks out and fashions a little screwdriver out of a fork, which I was kind of surprised he was able to do that, and ends up unscrewing the bed so he can get his leg brace off, but of course makes a shitload of noise, which brings in Apollo. And he tries to take out Apollo with the the ankle bracelet, and of course hits himself in the head, knock himself out. But what does Apollo do, being the dummy that he is? He's just a big muscle guy. He leaves the door open. And when he comes back with Athena, Athena's pissed at him because he left the door open. And she even says, oh, when they took your tongue, did they take part of your brain too? And I love it. He's trying to mumble the response back. So, and she's like, no, I don't want to hear it. Achilles will hear about this. So yeah, and the Greek god names, so it's just a very weird world that we're in at this point. So Josh ended up hiding behind the pipes is what happened when the door was left open. And they still leave the door open again. And he gets out and he's running down the hallway looking for a way out. And he sees behind a door, he can see through the glass there that there's a TTD device. And he's like, oh, great, TTD. And he starts using the leg restraint to smack the window, trying to break the window open. Of course, making a lot more noise for the people that are searching for him through the hallways. And he has to make a run for it and goes upstairs and out the cave and sees Los Angeles. And what we get as the date that we're giving is Blaptember 36, 2162. And that's where we leave off the episode, with Josh wrapped in sheets, holding on to his leg restraint, and out into the wild. Exactly. Words to live by. Exactly, Ed Brewer. So, actually, a fun episode. It, the writing is actually still spot on. Yes, it is a slower episode than what we're used to from this series, but they're getting things, we're in a new world now at this point. So they are trying to acclimate us as much as Josh is being acclimated to the future as well. And yes, I have seen episode 2. I snuck ahead as well, and it's good. So, what did everyone think there? We've got Mufinobi says, I thought the Greek god names were funny. Apollo, Athena, Jesus was a surprise. Well, yeah, when she says, we're going to meet the rest of the crew, which is Siddhartha's Xenu. God, who else did she say? She was mentioning a whole bunch of different religious figures' name, and I started laughing my ass off. I actually had to go back a couple of times to get a couple of things because I was laughing so hard. Yeah, Mufinobi, he does have an undersized bladder for a dick that big, because it's wolf's dick. We already saw he doesn't have enough blood either to operate both at the same time, his brain and that thing. So, yeah. Mufinobi says the actress was in the Imposter series. Sally, I like her. She's devious in both episodes so far. Nice. What else do we have here? Yeah, the Viking bitch. Yeah, how big is that thing going to be by season 3? They keep it. They keep enlarging that prosthetic that Josh is wearing. So I find it funny also that our main character Josh Fetterman is played by actor Josh Hutcherson. I have to say it slowly and I'm pretty sure they did it purposely. Naming him that once they hired him on. Because they wanted to get it as close to his name as possible. It's pretty damn funny. Yeah. Slurmy Scott says, I watched it twice. Too much to absorb in one watching. Yeah, I had to as well. These episodes, stuff flies by. And the first time I watched it, I actually watched the first one last night. And I wasn't too impressed by it the first time. And I think that was just because I had finished watching Gotham and Orville. So yeah, I wasn't I probably wasn't in the best state of mind when I was watching it. I was also kind of tired too. And then when I watched it the second time, I was like, oh, this is actually really good. And yeah, it's definitely a two view show. Yeah, Mufinobi, Josh is a producer now on the credits. And I'm kind of glad about that. I like when actors actually, put their money where their mouth is and come in as a producer, on these things. Viking bitch says, I'm going to be binging this. I won't be able to stop. Yeah, I have to take it in pieces because if I do it too fast, then everything kind of blurs together, and then I make mistakes when I start doing these podcasts, and I don't want to do that to you guys. I don't want to run things over into, and oh yeah, by the way, I just spoiled episode 3 for you, especially if you're watching along with the podcast, which kind of sucks for everybody. No, he's talking about the episodes. Maybe for nobody, Slurmy is talking about the episodes. Yeah. Joe Greer, what'd you think? And Ed, what'd you think too? I mean, I know you were kind of rushing through it to get here. What'd you think of the episode? Viking Bitch says, I appreciate that you're doing each one episode at a time. The show is too good. Yeah, I can't do a season overview of this one. There's just too much stuff packed in. I mean, every episode has stuff packed in there. I even liked, Josh mentions at one point that, when the biotics are sent out a kill order on him, he goes, oh shit, they John Wicked me. Which, is a good little aside as well. I mean, they're throwing everything in this. And yeah, now they're called biotechs instead of, yes. That's all I'm going to say is biotechs. But damn, it's a really good show. And if you're not watching it, like I said, it's free. You got a free 30-day trial. It's well worth your time. It's good sci-fi. It's good comedy. And come on, they worked in the word disestablishmentarianism into it. How they did that, it's some pretty good stuff. Yeah, John Wicked him and John Connored him. Yeah, exactly. So if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button here. Also hit the like or the dislike button if you dislike me as well. Who knows? That's a lot of that going on as well. If you want to see when I'm going to be on next, hit the bell as well. That will tell you when I'm going to be on next. And you should see up in this little corner probably a subscribe button if you want to subscribe to me. And over in this section, you'll see the videos that is tailored to your interests. That's what that are in my library. If you still are undecided about subscribing. I want to thank everybody in the chat and for being here tonight. It was good. The next episode of this, I am going to have to schedule because I'm in the process of buying another car. So a new car. I'm getting rid of my lease, and then yeah, so it's been a little bit hectic lately. So again, subscribe, take a look at the videos over here, and then don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you might wind up in a tub full of goo, realizing that the world you were in was just all a simulation. And Stu Camilo's out to get you along with the biotics.